Now we had confirmation coming, apparently, an official telling someone in Sky News, senior Pentagon official, saying that he knows who it was. Israelis started to say that, people close to Netanyahu, that it must be someone very high ranking. It's not just like a rogue person. However, according to this report here on Ynet, and it was also reported on Sky News, senior Pentagon official told Sky News in Arabic that the employee, who's an office manager for Assistant Minister Austin, is the one who leaked the documents dealing with Israel's preparations for an attack on Iran. She has access to very secret information. Washington Post says the FBI opened an investigation into the leak of the documents. Ariane Tabtabai, a senior employee in the office of the U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, is the one who leaked the classified documents of the Pentagon that deal with the Israeli preparation for an attack against Iran. This is according to a senior Pentagon official who said the words to Sky News in Arabic. According to him, the suspected employee is the director of the office of the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Special Operations, and she has a permit that gives her access to highly confidential information. Tabatabai is an American of Iranian descent, and this is not the first time her name has been associated with Iran. At the same time, the Washington Post reported that the FBI opened investigation into the leaking of the documents. This is the person we're talking about, Ariane. Is it true? Is it not? Are they trying to cover it up? Are they trying just to give her a frame because of her Iranian roots? We don't know. But this is what they're reporting. They're saying that it's her. Okay. In the US, an investigation was launched into the leak of the classified documents, which were published on Telegram last week and were distributed online at the end of the week. As evidence of the seriousness with which the leak was taken, several prominent media outlets such as CNN reported the leak in their headlines, and officials in Washington expressed great concern as a result. The documents are classified as top secret and are dated October 15th and 16th. American officials confirmed the reliability of the documents, which were written by the American Visual and Geographical Intelligence Agency, or NGA, which is responsible for analyzing information and images collected by US spy satellites, as well as the National Security Agency, NSA. These documents, which do not include the satellite images mentioned in them, detail Israeli preparations last week for an attack on Iran and, among other things, claim that the Air Force conducted a large-scale deployment exercise as well as an aerial refueling exercise. One of the documents states that the Air Force messed with ballistic missiles that are launched from the air, and that since October the 8th, tampering was observed with at least 16 missiles of the model known as Golden Horizon and at least 40 of the model known as ISO-2 or ROX. Regarding the first model that is mentioned, it is not clear which missile the document refers to. And in the past, its existence was not mentioned, neither in Israel nor outside of it. The second missile, ROX, was revealed by the Rafael company in 2019, and the company website, it's defined as an air-to-surface missile equipped with lethal warhead, a lethal warhead. It is also written that it is capable of destroying not only targets on the surface, but also those hidden underground in well-protected areas. The ROX missile is launched from significant ranges, on the other hand, far outside the coverage areas of the enemy's air defense systems, and performs a course at supersonic speeds towards the target, the Rafael website says. This reduces the exposure of the launching aircraft to enemy threats, as well as improves the chances of success in hitting the targets. It can be used against quality targets, whether stationary or flying, and even in arenas where the enemy is using countermeasures and disruptions against the GPS systems. A former senior Israeli intelligence officer claimed that the leak also contributes to the worsening of tensions between the two countries. What is harmful is the leak itself and the situation in which the US government seems unable to keep secrets. He said that the other day. Leaks don't just happen, the Israeli source told the CNN. Someone violated American law and they revealed these secrets. At the same time, CNN reporter Matthew Chance estimated that what is the harmful is not the details of the documents about the leaked plan, but the leak itself of the documents. Assuming that this whole leak is genuine, clearly it's something serious. However, this could also be an attempt from the United States to act as if it's, not involved. You're the one submitting and providing Israel with everything that they need. And is it a secret, your satellite imagery? Not that much. But again, they're saying that now we know who it is. Question is, what are you going to do about it? Exactly. Tell the person off or... And again, if Israel has a plan that includes this information that was leaked, it could potentially hinder it. However, not necessarily stop it. And again, Israel will not be conducting an attack on Iran without full knowledge from the US and potential participation as well, because you're talking about an attack that will be very, very complicated and very risky, and the United States has to be involved. So even if the United States reports this, it's not very likely that, people would be convinced that they have nothing to do with it. Which leads me to the second subject that I want to talk to you about. This man is called Muhammad Afif. He had a press conference. This man is the head of the media office of Hezbollah. And he had this press conference in the southern suburb of Beirut, Dahiya al-Janubiyya, in which he highlighted many things, paying respects to Yahya Sinwar and the martyrs, and also saying how things are developing. And he also confirmed that it was indeed Hezbollah who tried to target Netanyahu. And he said that he must be prepared for more attempts. So this is the first official confirmation that we have from Hezbollah that they are the ones who tried to assassinate Benjamin Netanyahu. Firstly, we had a statement that I spoke about from a man called MahmoodOD, who is the deputy political head of Hezbollah, who said that, well, they say the world is better without us. We say the world is better without them. Netanyahu and the US administration say the world is better without Nasrallah and Sinwar, and we say the world is better without Netanyahu and without the US administration, indirectly confirming that we tried to assassinate him. But now we have a confirmation. There is also another confirmation. What is this confirmation? That Israel kidnapped some Hezbollah fighters. In his press conference, he said that it won't be long up until we kidnap Israeli soldiers. But it's the first time that we hear a confirmation from Hezbollah that there are Hezbollah fighters held by Israel. Israel published previous videos about them, but again, nothing that they say in these videos can be regarded really as anything significant, because you're talking about people who are fighting, actively fighting, and they're trained to deal with such circumstances. Now, when it comes to the front, it's becoming very evident now and clear to everyone, well, primarily anyone with an ounce of logic in Lebanon and elsewhere, that the United States is not trying to mediate between Hezbollah and Israel. What they're trying to do is, act like we ended the war and we want to dictate our conditions on Lebanon. So here's the list of demands. We don't want to see Hezbollah. We want to have more freedom of movement. We want to attack whenever we can. And who knows, maybe we want to set up some settlements in the future. And we spoke about that in much detail yesterday. That was the second thing that I wanted to talk to you about. Third thing, Ansarullah in Yemen, Yahya Sari', he had a confirmation today that we had another attack coming from Yemen on Israel. Another ballistic missile. Palestine 2 launched at a military target in central Israel. That came simultaneously with ballistic missile attacks from Hezbollah on Haifa and on central Israel as well, showing a level of coordination perhaps between Ansarullah and Hezbollah. Now this is becoming the norm. Benjamin Netanyahu, he said that they're waging this attack on Lebanon to get the people back to the north. Now you hardly have anywhere really from the north up to central Israel, include the areas surrounding Gaza, that have no risk. And I mean, Hezbollah reached the deepest places in Israel, They reached Ma'ale Adumim. They cut off the electricity there. That's the biggest settlement near Jerusalem. And they're still continuing. And it's not just them. It's Ansarullah too. It's Yemen as well. Meaning, well, you're definitely not going to achieve any of your military objectives. Now, how Israel is trying to make it appear as if they are doing some progress is on the propaganda front. With these assassinations, today their army reportedly confirmed that we also now killed Hashim Safiuddin, Sayyid Hashim Safiuddin, who was due to replace Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah as the Secretary General of Hezbollah. We haven't had a confirmation from Hezbollah yet. But again, what are they trying to say when they publish these things? That, we're killing all of your leaders, so you might as well call it a day now. Call it a day. All of your leaders are gone. Call it a day. However, on the ground, well, we're seeing other stuff. On the ground, we're seeing 25 attacks on average from Hezbollah, inside of Lebanon, outside of Lebanon, escalation, targeted assassination of Benjamin Netanyahu himself, and constant fierceness when it comes to resisting Israel, which is still talking about attacking Iran. It's still talking about attacking Iran. And we had these confirmations coming from Iran today. Firstly, we had Abbas Arakshi saying this. Neighbors have distanced themselves from action against Iran. Speaking to reporters at a press conference in Kuwait on Tuesday, Arakshi outlined Iran's plans to respond to a possible Israeli military attack. Asked about the American military bases in Kuwait and the probability of them being used for military strike against Iran, the foreign minister said, quote, all of our neighbors have given an assurance that they would not allow their countries to be used for an attack against us, end quote. Arakshi noted that Iran naturally expects the neighboring and friendly countries to distance themselves from acts of aggression against the Islamic Republic and consider it as a sign of friendship and sincerity. The foreign minister stated that Iran is closely monitoring the U.S. regional bases and takes care of the flights in them. I will be providing the Kuwaiti officials with the information we have about the U.S. base in Kuwait. He said Iran has not pinned its hopes on international laws to reign in Israel, stressing that the Islamic Republic has its own tools to fend for itself and protect its nuclear facilities. Arakchi warned that the Zionist regime itself is aware how Iran will react if it dares to attack Iranian infrastructural facilities. The Iranian foreign minister has stepped up diplomatic efforts in recent weeks to address the regional conflicts and put an end to the Israeli regime's crimes in Gaza and Lebanon. He also visited Lebanon, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Iraq, Oman, Jordan, Egypt, Turkey, Bahrain, and Kuwait in the past 2 weeks. And we also had another threat coming from this man. This man is the commander of the Iranian army. The commander of the Iranian army warned that the Zionist regime's miscalculation will trigger a devastating response from Tehran. The spokesperson for the Iranian Parliament's National Security and Foreign Policy Commission gave details of a meeting the commission members had with Iran's army commander, Major General Abdul Rahim Musawi. The army chief has made it clear in the meeting that the Iranian armed forces are fully prepared to deal a shattering blow to the Zionist regime in case of an Israeli mistake, Ibrahim Razai said. The top general has also highlighted the role of the army in the Operation True Promise 2, reiterating the military forces' readiness to protect the country's territorial integrity. The spokesman added, on October 1st, Iran responded to the Israeli assassination of Hamas political bureau chief Ismail Haniyeh, Hezbollah Secretary General Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, and IRGC General Abbas Nilfurushan by launching as many as 200 ballistic missiles toward the Zionist regime's military and intelligence bases all over the occupied Palestinian territories. While the Zionist regime has threatened to retaliate, Iranian officials have warned that Tehran's reciprocal response to any Israeli action will be harsh, proportional, and well calculated. Exactly how the Iranians got us used to it. Harsh, proportional, and well calculated. This is how Iran attacks, ladies and gentlemen. The other thing that I want to talk to you about is a report. Now, this report, mind you, hasn't been published on many websites. Okay, I mean, some of those websites, again, I'm not entirely sure about the validity of this, but it has been published. One of them was a Yemeni website called Akhbar al-Yemeni. Okay, they were talking about a request coming from Saudi Arabia and Egypt to have a military show with Iran in the Red Sea. Here you have it. Iran revealed on Tuesday a Saudi-Egyptian offer in the Red Sea. Now, this Yemeni news website is quoting the Iranian radio, and again, I haven't heard it from the Iranian radio, and I haven't seen transcripts of it, but they're reporting it according to them. And I saw a couple of other websites publishing this. The Islamic Republic of Iran radio quoted sources saying that the show includes joint maneuvers in the Red Sea. This is the first time that Riyadh and Cairo have requested such a thing from Iran since the start of Al-Aqsa flood last October, as the two countries remain publicly neutral and secretly supportive of the occupation. Again, according to that website. Iran did not clarify the nature of its response to the Saudi-Egyptian request. In the past few days, Saudi Arabia participated as an observer in maneuvers conducted by Iran, Russia, and the Sultanate of Oman in the Arabian Sea. The Saudi-Egyptian request in terms of timing indicates an attempt by both parties through summoning Iran, the non-literal country, to contain the Yemeni operations against the Israeli occupation, which have been continuing at a high pace since last November. International parties, most notably the United States, Britain, and the European Union, have previously tried to contain the operations militarily and failed. Saudi Arabia and Egypt have been moving intensively in recent days regarding the Red Sea. The latest of these moves was a meeting between Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the Egyptian president, a large part of which was devoted to discussing developments in the Red Sea, where both parties spoke about the damage caused by the Yemeni operations. In recent days, Egypt also hosted meetings with the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. Okay. Again, validity, I cannot confirm. However, they're reporting that. Likelihood, we're not very likely to see a show of strength coming from Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt, unless we're talking about something that would deem to be not very operational. I could be wrong. However, I assume this primarily because of how tied Egypt and Saudi Arabia are to the United States administration. Now, mind you, there has been a departure in recent years. The relationship, they still have the relationship, they still have diplomatic ties, they still have, military representatives going there back and forth, coordination. However, it's not the way it was before. No one can deny that. Saudi Arabia is with the BRICS. Now Turkey is joining the BRICS. Egypt is in the BRICS. Turkey asked to join. And the BRICS is considered to be as the biggest organizational threat to United States hegemony. Meaning, clearly, even if there was something there and something is still there now, there is a slight shift. There is a slight shift, and we wouldn't be surprised if more coordination is seen in sometime soon. Why? Because firstly, in 2023, if you want to talk about both Iran and Saudi Arabia, the traditional, competitors, to say the least, we had a deal brokered by China and Oman. Again, Oman's participation is not surprising. And they reached a deal. Again, mediation done by China, not the United States. Why? Because the United States wants them fighting. They don't want them together. So it wouldn't be surprising. However, I thought I'd share that with you because from the way things are going now, it wouldn't be exceptional that at one point we would start to see stronger bonds being formed by countries who deem themselves or realize that they would be next on the hit list of this genocidal expansionist entity.